I am Hephaestus, the living flame, the resounding echo of steel born in the belly of the furnace. I speak not in idle murmurs, but in the clang and ring of creation, where each word is a hammer blow upon the anvil of existence. My tongue is tempered metal, my verses, sparks that ignite the soul of every work forged in fire and sweat. I have wrested order from chaos, bound unruly matter into forms of enduring strength. When mighty gods wage their celestial wars and their temples shatter into ruin, it is my hands that rebuild them, forging from brokenness a legacy of resilience. Though mortals whisper the name the Lame One, know that it is through the crucible of relentless struggle that I have become unbreakable. Listen well, for you stand at the threshold of a saga, a journey through the sacred art of smelting, where the raw elements of earth and flame converge in a divine triad of transformation, ore, fuel, and fire. In the furnace of history, these three forces unite to shape civilizations, just as the strike of my hammer brings forth beauty from the bedrock of chaos. Hear the ring of the hammer upon steel, the slow exhalation of bellows feeding the sacred fire, and the groan of molten rock surrendering to destiny. In every tool you wield, in every machine you command, in every city risen from stone and sweat, my voice endures, a timeless reminder that creation is born of effort, and true power lies in the will to shape it. Here you will journey with me through the origins of fire and metal, the sacred rituals of ore and flame, and the innovations that have moulded our world. I shall reveal the triadic dance of material, method, and mastery that has, since time immemorial, transformed raw chaos into the enduring art of metallurgy. For in the end it is not the fire alone that makes the smith, but the steadfast will to stand within its heat and shape destiny with each resolute strike. Now come forth and let the story of transformation unfold. Before the fire's kiss, mankind wandered a world of raw, untouched elements. In that age of innocence, mortals revered the natural splendor of metals, gold, copper and silver, as rare, untempered treasures of the earth. Yet the seeds of transformation were sown when ingenuity first met flame. In the primordial glow of pit furnaces, simple earthen cauldrons of hope, ore and charcoal were laid in sacred layers. There, the triumvirate of ore, fuel and flame converged to awaken a latent power within the stone. As the first sparks leapt into life, so too did a new era, an age in which chaos was bound into form and the destiny of civilizations was forged in fire. From the very bosom of the earth, myriad ores emerged, each a whisper of promise, each a potential hymn of creation. Copper, summoned forth from malachite, azurite and chalcopyrite, answered the call of the sacred flame with a vibrant earthen song. Tin from cassiterite and iron from hematite and magnetite ores became ancient allies in the dance of alloy. As they melded in union, their mingling births heralded the Bronze and Iron Ages. The mysterious allure of lead revealed traces of silver, and the pure majesty of gold was coaxed from its hidden sanctuaries. Each mineral was a note in a grand elemental symphony, a triad of substance, potential and transformation, awaiting the skilled hand of the divine smith to unlock its true essence. As mortals first sought to wrest metal from stone, their earliest forges were crude yet full of promise. The pit furnace was their first tool, a simple depression in the earth, where ore and charcoal were heaped together and set alight. Left to the whims of the wind, these fires rarely burned hot enough to fully extract metal, yielding only small, porous masses of copper. Yet in this humble beginning lay the seed of mastery, for from these scattered successes came knowledge, deeper pits, more controlled airflow, and the realization that fire, when given breath, could grow stronger still. Thus dawned the age of the bowl furnace, a shallow cavity of clay or stone, designed to cradle the embers and concentrate the heat. Here, for the first time, mortals learned to control the draught, using channels or simple pipes, tuyères, to direct air into the heart of the flames. The effect was profound. Temperatures climbed, and smelting became more reliable. Copper flowed more readily from its ore, and tin, when added with care, birthed bronze, harder, stronger, and the harbinger of new ages. No longer were mortals at the mercy of nature's fickle breath. They had learned to command the wind, and with it the very fate of their craft. Yet mastery is ever a ladder with no top, and so the forges grew taller. The shaft furnace, a vertical chamber of clay and stone, rose as a monument to humankind's growing understanding. Standing taller than a man, it was more than a vessel for fire. It was a machine of transformation. Within its depths, ore and charcoal were layered in repeating strata, each feeding the other in a careful harmony. Bellows, now wielded with skill, forced air into the base, raising temperatures beyond those of any forge before it. No longer did metal emerge in scattered droplets or feeble lumps. Now it was drawn forth in greater quantities, its purity enhanced by the greater separation of slag. With the shaft furnace, the hunger for metal could finally be fed at scale. Tools and weapons for armies, trade goods for distant lands, a world reshaped by the bounty of the forge. But still, one great prize remained untamed. Iron, the stubborn, unyielding child of the earth. Copper and bronze had flowed at the touch of fire, but iron resisted. It would not melt in the modest heat of its predecessors' furnaces, and so a new approach was required. The answer came in the form of the bloomery furnace, a design that did not seek to liquefy iron, but rather to coax it into a workable form. A great clay-built chamber, its walls lined with heat-hardened stone, the bloomery was fed with alternating layers of iron ore and charcoal. With the bellows tirelessly fanning the fire, the temperature climbed to just below the melting point of iron, hot enough to force the metal free from its ore, but not so hot as to render it liquid. Instead, iron gathered in the furnace's heart as a spongy, slag-riddled mass, the bloom. This was no final product, but a raw promise, requiring the hammer's blows to drive out impurities and shape it into tools, weapons, and the foundation of an age. The bloomery gave iron to the world, and the world was forever changed. Yet even iron's dominion was not the end of the forge's ascent. For in the east, where knowledge flowed like rivers through the great kingdoms of China, the ancient craft reached new heights. There the blast furnace was born, a towering structure, its bellows no longer driven by mere hands and feet, but by the power of water itself. Now the wind never ceased, and with its constant breath the fire soared to heights never before seen. For the first time, iron surrendered fully to the forge, melting into liquid fire, flowing freely into moulds, to be cast in forms undreamed of. No longer was iron shackled to the hammer and anvil. Now it could be shaped as bronze once was, poured into tools, weapons, and great structures of strength. In this, the forge had reached its zenith. From earth to fire, from bloom to flow, the art of smelting had ascended to a realm of boundless creation. Thus did the furnaces rise, each a step upon the endless path of mastery. From the pit to the blast, from scattered droplets to molten rivers, mortals walked ever forward, their hands blackened with soot, their eyes alight with the glow of discovery. The forge, once a whisper, had become a roar, and the world it shaped would never be the same. Now behold the sacred rite, a ritual older than kings, yet no less divine, a communion between earth and fire, where the raw and unformed is transfigured into strength and purpose. The journey begins with the cleansing of ore, for no metal surrenders easily. Rock and impurity must be crushed, then roasted, purged of moisture and volatile spirits, laid bare to accept the coming change. This is the first trial where the weak crumble and the worthy remain. Next comes the birth of fuel, charcoal, the very breath of the forge. Wood, when left to smoulder in starved embers, is transformed into a substance fit to feed the great hunger of the furnace. This is no hurried act, but a slow and patient gestation, for only in time's embrace does the fuel of gods take form. Then the assembly of the furnace, a sacred structure, its womb layered with charcoal and ore, arranged with care, for even the fires heed the laws of order. A proper layering allows the flames to rise, to move, to reach every crevice of the waiting stone and metal. Now the breath of the bellows, the summoning of the wind. Air is drawn and exhaled, a rhythmic invocation that stokes the fire beyond mortal reckoning. In this blistering heat, 800, 1000, 1300 degrees, the ore surrenders. Its bonds break, the dross cast aside as slag, the refuse of chaos abandoned in the wake of purity's ascent, and at last the birth, metal raw yet full of promise, awaits its final trial. Whether it emerges in solid blooms or as molten streams, it must be shaped, hammered, refined, tempered by the hands of those who dare to call themselves smiths. This is the moment where fire and force, heat and will unite to bring forth something greater than what was before. Thus is the cycle complete, a dance of destruction and creation, of order wrested from raw matter, a process eternal, unyielding, divine, the work of mortals, yet touched by gods. Across the vast expanse of the ancient world, the art of smelting wove its mystic influence through the hearts of many civilizations. In the fertile lands of Mesopotamia and the mighty banks of the Nile, early smiths kindled the first copper and bronze flames, their small kilns echoing with promise. Far to the east, in the bustling cities of the Indus Valley, mastery over bronze and copper transformed everyday life into an art of industry and beauty. In the celestial halls of China, innovation blazed with the rise of the blast furnace, where cast iron was first born under the watchful eyes of ancient visionaries. Meanwhile, in the rugged landscapes of Europe and the spirited heartlands of Africa, iron bloomed in furnaces of stone, each region forging its own unique path, a triad of tradition, innovation and adaptation that united disparate cultures under the common banner of progress. Even the distant civilizations of the Americas, with their precious metals and ceremonial smelts, joined this global chorus, a reminder that the spark of creation burns in every corner of the earth. In the sanctum of my forge, every instrument is consecrated, a vital extension of the creative will. The tuyeres serve as conduits for life-giving air, channeling the breath that enlivens the flame. The rhythmic pulse of the bellows imparts a heartbeat to the furnace, each exhalation a promise of heat and transformation. Crucibles cradle the molten dreams of ore, while hammers and anvils bear the weight of destiny with every resounding strike. Even the humble slag pits, silent keepers of discarded impurities, stand as guardians of purity. Together, these tools form a triad of craft, force, and vision, each essential to the sacred alchemy that turns the raw into the refined, the base into the eternal. Smelting is no mere craft. It is the crucible in which civilizations are born and remade. The tempered metal of my forges became the sinews of mighty weaponry, the sturdy implements of agriculture and the gleaming currency of trade. In every hammer's echo and every spark that flew into the night, there lay the pulse of urbanization, a steady cadence that spurred the growth of cities, the rise of specialized artisans, and the dawn of a connected, industrious world. The art of the forge, born on the wings of effort and endurance, has not only built monuments and machines, but has also etched its indelible mark upon the very soul of humanity. In this endless cycle of creation, the triad of labour, ingenuity and resilience lives on, reminding all who dare to build that true strength is forged in the crucible of struggle. Even as the ancient furnaces cooled and gave way to the marvels of medieval and modern metallurgy, the spirit of smelting endured, a timeless flame passed down through the ages. The techniques of old, honed by the sweat and fire of countless generations, laid the bedrock upon which modern industry is built. Though the roar of the blast furnace may have softened, its echo lives on in every spark of innovation, every resilient creation that defies the passage of time. The eternal cycle of innovation, preservation and renewal stands as a tribute to the art of transformation. For even now, in every modern forge and every resounding clang of steel, you can hear the voice of my ancient hammer, a reminder that while the tools may change, the will to create, endure and rebuild is eternal. And so we stand at the anvil's edge, gazing upon the embers of a legacy unbroken by time. You have traced the arc of fire's dominion, from the first timid sparks of ancient pit furnaces to the roaring maelstrom of iron-born empires. You have seen how stone surrendered its secrets to those who dared to wield flame, how the hammer's strike turned raw ore into the sinews of civilization itself. But know this, the forge does not sleep. The fire that once birthed bronze and iron still smoulders in every age, whispering to those bold enough to shape the world anew. The tools may evolve, the methods may shift, but the will to create, To pull strength from weakness, to forge order from chaos, to temper fate itself, remains eternal. This is the truth of the forge. Nothing is given. Everything is earned. The metal does not shape itself. The fire does not choose its master. It is the hands that dare to grasp the hammer, the mind that envisions what could be, the spirit that withstands the heat and refuses to break. So I ask you now, mortal, what will you forge? Will you let the fire consume you, or will you temper your will and make of yourself something greater? For in the end it is not the flames that test the metal, it is the metal that proves itself within the flames.